Well,
Uh,
hello. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
I sure can. I'm going to have my phone on, no video, no sound, because I'm eating supper, because then I have to leave in 20
Oh,
minutes. Really.
oh, okay. Well, hey, that is absolutely perfect because
But
I was planning on keeping it within the 20 to 30 minute mark. So,
okay, I'm
woo,
I'm on. There's lights everywhere. This is bad. So, but I'm here and I'm listening. I just don't want you to hear me chewing and.
you are awesome, and that is no problem. I'm happy to have you here. And we may or may not have some more people pop on, but it is being recorded. So I'm really excited about our topic today. And this topic today for our Thankful Thursdays Freedom Call is about goals. We all have goals. Do we achieve our goals? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes it takes a really long time. So, what can we do to achieve our goals? Many times we have many goals. So, if you're here now, if you're just tuning in, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching the replay, think about your goals. How many goals do you have? You probably have goals in many categories. Health goals, eating better, losing weight, financial goals, getting rid of debt, becoming a millionaire, increasing your income on a job. Maybe you have relationship goals for marriage, or maybe you're not married and want to be married. Grace in our chat says, I write them down. Yes, yes, we write them down. Absolutely, Grace. I see Kim is joining us as well. So I want you to think about your goals across all of the categories of goals that you have. There could be family goals, there could be fun goals, there could be goals for adventure. We have many goals. So take some time to write them down. Take some time to think about them. They're all important, but we cannot do all of them at exactly the same time. So we need to pick the most important one for this season that will have a priority. Now, if anybody looks at the back of your money, it says e pluribus unum. Pluribus like plural, many, unum, uno, one. From many, one. That's good advice when it comes to goals. Pick your most important one that you'll become laser focused on. A lot of times when we do pick that one goal and we actually achieve progress towards that goal, the other goals will somehow come along with them. They say a rising tide raises all boats. So we're going to pick the most important goal for this season. And I want you to know that just because you say, hey, this is my most important goal for the season, that does not necessarily mean that the goal is your main priority or your main value or your identity. The goal that you choose is not going to take up 100% of your time, but it will be something that you write down or put on your calendar as a priority. For me, my particular priorities are God, my spouse, my child, and then work, and then community, and then church. That's me. However, at one time, I chose my priority for a goal to be health related. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to find out what I could do to knock off those pounds. And if anybody is watching and you're over 50 years old, sometimes menopause hits in and it's more difficult to do those things that used to be easy. So don't get a laser focused goal to mess up your priorities. Just because I wanted to have that goal, that doesn't mean I was going to skip a date with my husband, or that doesn't mean I was going to skip family time. This was just a priority. So think about your most important goal, still not going to interfere with your priorities and your values, but it will be the goal that takes more time than the rest of your goals, that takes more focus. When you have that goal, I want you to ask yourself why. So right now we're in part A. There's two parts. There's the goal and there's how to get it. So from your many goals, you pick one. Once you pick one, you ask yourself why. This can be a goal. Again, it can be a health goal. It can be a financial goal. It can be a spiritual goal. Maybe you want to read through the Bible from beginning to end in 1 year. It can be a goal in any category, but you need to ask yourself why you want the goal. And you need to go 7 layers deep. For example, maybe you have a goal to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? I'll just use myself for an example. If I say I want to lose weight, why do I want to lose weight? Well, I want to lose weight so I can fit in my clothes better. Okay. Well, got 2 things going. Why do I want to fit in my clothes better? And will losing weight actually help me fit into my clothes better? Maybe, but maybe I just need to add muscle. Maybe I need to stay the same weight, but add muscle. So asking that first why helped me clarify. Well, yeah, if I want to fit into my clothes better, maybe it's not just losing weight. Maybe it's gaining muscle. Why do I want to fit into my clothes better? Maybe I have a closet full of clothes that I like, and I don't want to spend more money into buying a whole wardrobe. Okay, why don't you want to spend more money in buying a whole new wardrobe? Maybe I'm saving money. Maybe I'm in debt. Maybe I don't have it right now. Okay, why don't you have it? Okay, maybe I don't have it because I was undisciplined in my finances, and maybe being undisciplined in my finances made me undisciplined in my eating habits. Okay, well, why did I become undisciplined? Let me think. Maybe I became undisciplined because I wasn't focusing. Maybe I was focusing on the wrong thing. So, what am I going to focus on? I hope this makes sense. You ask yourself why to get to the nitty gritty of your goal. And that's really important because sometimes you might find it's not that for me. It wasn't that I just wanted to lose weight. It was I wanted to feel better about myself. I wanted to wear the clothes. I thought it would bring me more joy and more happiness. So what I was really after for me in that season was a goal of self-acceptance and getting better. I thought it was the weight loss, but it really wasn't. You see how that works as you get down deep. And that is going to help you actually achieve something. So part A, you have the clarified goal. Once you have it clarified, we're now into part B. How do we get it? Now, Grace already gave away step number 1 in the chat box. We write it down. Step number 2, you must write down when you want it accomplished. You must write down a date. That is non-negotiable. You must write down the date. Now, just because you write down the date Maybe you'll hit the date, maybe you'll get it earlier, maybe you'll get it later. That's okay. The date is not set in stone, but you still must write down the date. That is step number 2. Um, Step number 3 is you're going to put in your milestones to reach it. Now, here is where a lot of people miss. They don't write down the date they want to achieve it, and they don't write the milestones that they need to hit. For many goals, you need to actually work backwards. For example, this is a big goal. My son wants to be a test pilot. So as a teen, he said, I want to have a career in aviation. I want to be a test pilot. That doesn't happen overnight. How do you become a test pilot? Well, to become a test pilot, you have to be a regular pilot in the military. They're usually military test pilots. Okay, so how do you get to be a military pilot? Well, you need to be an officer in the military. All right, there he goes. Now, which branch of the military has the most opportunities? He had to figure that out. Okay, now what are the ways to get into the military for him to reach his goal and to become an officer? Officer requires a college education. How is he going to do that? Well, he found a bunch of options. He can apply for the academies. He can go to a regular college and be an ROTC. He figured that out. All right, let's go down again. How do you get into college and be accepted into ROTC or all of these options? Well, in high school, he had to get really good grades and he had to apply. So he worked backwards. And then he was able to estimate the dates of, how old he was going to be when he reached those certain items. Does that make sense? So you find the goal, you work backwards, you put the dates down. He did not achieve all of the dates, all of his timeline milestones. Sometimes he had to reevaluate. Sometimes some things came faster. Sometimes they came later. So, to clarify again, part A, you pick one goal from the many, you go 7 layers deep on the why. Then when you have it clarified, you go to part B, you write it down, you write the date that you want, and you get your milestones, and you re-evaluate your milestones. Those are 3 steps. And if you do those 3 steps, you will be farther ahead than 98% of the people that have goals. A lot of people, they say they have a goal, but it's really a dream because they don't write it down. There is something that happens when you take something out of your imagination and you write it down. You've just brought it into physical reality. It's the first step to it happening. And then as you clarify and you write the timelines and you reevaluate, your mind is primed to look for all the opportunities to help make it happen. And you are tracking things. If you don't track things, they're not going to happen, or they're not going to happen quickly. And to give you an idea of how important it is to track things, I'm going to go back to the health. Most, I, I don't know, we're all women here. I think most of the women have tried to lose weight at one time or another. Maybe most of us have tried to count calories because they say if you want to lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you're putting in your mouth. Has anybody, and you can put in the chat, have you ever weighed or tracked or tried to figure out your calories? I mean, it's kind of a pain, but it really shows you if you're how well you're doing. You can't just mindlessly eat if you need to write it down. But the crazy thing is, people, even when they write it down and track it, they tend to misrepresent what they're actually eating by anywhere from 40 to 60%. So if somebody thinks they ate 1,000 calories that day, they could have actually eaten 1,600 calories that day. Like that's huge. No wonder it doesn't work. Now, for registered dietitians and nutritionists, when they have done that and they've estimated it, they've also estimated it wrong, but only by 16%. So even the professionals in that field, if they want to be accurate, they really need to weigh and track. They can't just eyeball it. Gloria says, no, I never. I only watch what I eat. I've cut out several things out of my food. Okay, that's one way of doing it. And I would ask, have you gotten the results you've wanted by doing that? Most people aren't going to get the results they want. So here is where step number 4 and the final step comes into play. And this is huge. For that number 1 goal, the one that you picked from the many, for that goal that is really going to give you what you need, that's going to help your discipline, that's going to bump you ahead, that's going to make you feel better about yourself. Whatever that goal is, you need to hire a professional. You need to hire a professional. Now, we're here, generally we talk about finances, and many people say, I can't hire a professional. I don't have the money. Well, if it was really important to you, you would find a way. Let me tell you what we already do to where we already hire people. And I want you to think, if you hire a professional to get you to your goal, if it's a health goal, you might want to hire a personal trainer. You might want to hire a nutritionist. You want to hire somebody that has the results that you want. You're going to exchange money in order to reduce your timeline, because you can always make more money. You can never make more time. So what is that time worth? In the chat we have, I did hire a dietitian for about 2 years and I lost weight. So it sounds like, Gloria, it sounds like you hired somebody that was able to get results, that was trained, that had experience. Now, here are some other ways where everybody hires somebody. Everybody hires somebody to make their life easier in areas that are important to them. So here's where everybody hires somebody. We hire everybody on this call, including me, we hire farmers. We hire farmers because I don't think anybody here is growing enough food in their backyard not to hire a farmer. We hire farmers. Saves us a lot of time and money. Sometimes we even hire food prep. We go through McDonald's. We buy some frozen foods. We have hired a company to save us time. I don't think everybody here makes stuff from scratch all the time. It would be healthier, but we hire somebody. How about actors? We hire actors for our own entertainment. And we hire actors by buying a movie ticket. We hire actors by paying for cable. We hire actors for, watching the TV commercials. Okay, we think we're not paying for the television show, but the advertisements are taking a portion of our time. We hire clothes makers. I did not sew this jacket myself. I bought it already made. Some designer and clothes maker got hired because I don't sew all my clothes. My grandma did. She sewed some of my clothes, but we do outsource things. Um, I saw somebody, hey, Monique, I see you. Try it again. I'm sorry if I saw you pop on and then it didn't go through. All right, so got somebody else coming on. So that is huge. Hire somebody because it's going to cut down your timeline. We already do it. So, in order to recap, and I see one more person coming on the call, and we will recap that. Part A is you pick the goal. From the many, pick that one goal and why you want it 7 layers deep. And just to clarify that, when I say pick one goal, it doesn't mean you're going to stop working on all the other goals. It just means this goal is going to take the priority. That goal is going to be the laser focus. It's going to be the main one, the number one priority. You'll still be working on goals. Part B is you must write it down. Write down the date you want and create your timeline. A lot of times you have to work backwards from the goal. And finally, hire somebody. If you're trying to lose weight, do what Gloria did, hire a dietitian. If you're trying to gain muscle, maybe you want to hire a personal trainer. I was actually homeschooling at one time, and I wanted my son to have the best opportunity for scholarships. And I was paying her $47 a month to have a 15 or 20-minute call with her once a month. Both of her sons got 100% scholarships to colleges, and I only had one chance to get it right with my son. I couldn't, if I had a bunch of children, then maybe I would have only needed to hire her once, gain the experience for my first child, but I only had one. I could not mess up. And I was really afraid to spend that $47 a month. She also had certain templates and advice to follow, and how to create transcripts and how to do everything I needed, how to make sure that he had what colleges were looking for, because I did not have that experience. And guess what? My son got a 100% fully paid scholarship to college. Thank God. Yay. Yeah, I know. It's awesome. And if I had not hired that woman, and I also had another coach to help me through that, all of his hard work would not have paid off. He could have worked really hard, but if he had nobody to guide him, to put the scholarships in when they needed to be put in, to put them in the way they were supposed to be in, he would not have had that opportunity. So that is it. Goals, pick one 7 levels deep, get it clarified, part A. Part B, write it down, write your date, put your timeline milestones in, and hire somebody. You don't have time to waste. Hire somebody to get your results, somebody that has already gotten the same results. Don't go ask your neighbor or your aunt who doesn't have the results. They're going to give you lots of opinions, but just look at their life and say, is that the result I want? Find somebody that has the result you want. So we are good for tonight. Wonderful, Grace. I know you got to head out a bit. We will have this recorded if you want to check back later. And anybody else, let me know if this resonated with you, if you know the goal you want, or if you did have a goal and hired someone. I think Grace said she hired someone to menu prep for her. It included a shopping list and menus. That has to be a huge time saver, huge time saver. All right, so you guys are welcome to pop off, unmute yourselves, say hi. Monique, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad your mom reminded you. So good to see you. You still look beautiful, even if you say you're feeling a little under the weather.
Look,
I'm glad you're here.
you're off mute, Mom.
You guys can get off mute. Get off mute. Say hi. Did anything resonate with you? Anything make sense?
What you said about picking a goal and going 7 layers deep, I've heard this before. I've heard it before, but I must be truthful, I haven't done it. I've done some of the work, but not all. And choosing a date, that too, I haven't done.
Okay. And
I hear a little voice sometimes telling me to write down a date and so forth because it worked for her.
Gloria, I have to say, you're one step into the process, and that's good. It's time to take the other step. I definitely applaud you for putting the goal in place. I know I have mentioned going 7 layers deep. Maybe you heard it from me in the past. Maybe you heard it from somebody else as well. I did not come up with that. But now it's time to take the next step. Take the next step. Write down a date and go a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. What if you can't get to 7 levels? Well, try. See how far you can get. And I would love, love, love for any of you to post in the group if you'd like to share about the goal you've picked or how you're doing with your timeline. I see Monique's working on some goals. Is it hard to talk? Do you just want to type, Monique? I don't know why there's a thumbs up on my screen, but yay, thumbs up to all of you.
No, well, hi, good evening, everyone. No, it's just that my mom and I are practically right beside each other. So I think if I take myself off of mute, it'll echo in hers if she's also off of mute. So I just went into I just went into another room. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing much more talking for today, but this is a very timely word that I needed to hear again because I was just today thinking about my goals and what I wanted to work on and what I wanted to specifically focus on. And actually, I was listening to something earlier again today that was talking about priorities and goals. So I seem to be hearing a word of priorities and goals and getting those in order, which means obviously I need to do that. So I feel like sometimes I may take on a bit too much because I don't have the laser focus on, is this fitting into the goal, yes or not? And if it's not as much as I may like it, I may have to say, you know what, this is just not for now. So it really helps, and it's an encouragement to hear it again, to focus on the goals, like what are the goals, and then what are the priorities behind the goals. I feel like it definitely feeds into it. So thank you. I needed to hear that word again.
Well, awesome. I'm glad the universe is telling you something. And if you decide to go back and have the replay, one of the things I mentioned is when you go deeper on the why, you might figure out that your original goal isn't really your goal, that it might just change and metamorphose into what you really want and desire in your heart. So I'd love for you to go back and listen and see if that can help bring things together with the focus. So uh, let's see. Grace has in the chat, goal 1, working on getting out of debt by Brad's 65th birthday, and goal 2, getting healthier. Have to look at my 7 layers deep for the whys. Right. Now, as you go through both of those goals and you go 7 layers deep, you might find it might change a little. It might alter a little. It's possible that goal 1 and goal 2 could flip. It's possible that as you go 7 layers deep, there might be one goal that brings both of those together. So again, that 7 layers deep is really powerful to help you focus. So, and I love you guys. You're awesome. You encourage me, you lift me up. And by you guys being here and encouraging me, it helps me so much, because when I prepare for these things, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling myself what to do. As I prepare, I'm thinking, what's my need, and can my need maybe help somebody else that has the same need? So this is something that I am working on, and I'm glad that I could share it with you. Thank you for calling me higher, and we'll see you next week. And I'd love for you to post in the group, put in the comments a goal you're working on and how this helps. Love you guys. Good night.